Hello, I'm Bill Wasch. On today's edition of Seniors Living a Quality Life, we will learn more about nutrition and meal programs for the elderly, from dining at senior centers to having meals delivered right to your home. Next, we'll explore Benefits Checkup, a new online website that helps seniors determine what financial assistance programs they may be eligible for. Then we'll follow a group of senior musicians who are picking up their instruments, some for the first time, to play in the New Horizons Band. And finally, we will learn from the experts about long-term care insurance, all on this edition of Seniors Living a Quality Life. First up, we find out what's happening with elderly nutrition and meal plans around the state of Connecticut.
I'm 65 years old, and I've been coming here for about a year and a half. My wife and I come here for lunches, and we come here Wednesdays for dances. The meals are good. It's enjoyable. You can meet a lot of nice people.
The purpose of the Elderly Nutrition Program is to bring seniors out of their homes, and they have a chance to socialize and have a good meal and meet new friends. And also, most of the senior centers provide services and programs and activities. And so all of these together combine to help seniors improve their health and improve their enjoyment of life. Anybody can go to a senior community cafe or a senior center, rich or poor. It's not means tested, no requirements except age. Okay, you have to be at least 60 or the spouse of somebody who is 60 or older. Hello? Yes, I've just been reviewing your menu. The Department of Social Services contracts with 5 area agencies on aging, and they in turn subcontract for the services. These subcontractors we call elderly nutrition projects. We have 13 of them in Connecticut at this time. They provide meals at the senior centers and the other senior community cafes in the state, of which we have about 200. Every one of these 13 elderly nutrition projects hires a dietitian, and this person will prepare the menu. It's checked over, and then when they contract with the caterer knows the type of menu that they want.
We do anywhere from about 175 to 200 meals at the senior centers congregate. We send out roughly 400 to 425 home-delivered clients that get a hot meal and a cold bag, which is two meals per person. That accounts for about 850 meals a day that goes out. Overall meal count is about 1,200 meals roughly a day. Our mornings are very busy. We start very early in the morning to get things ready to do 1,000 meals each day. But basically, it's just a matter of coming in and getting stuff ready, prepared for the assembly lines, cold and hot each morning. So everything's ready for when the drivers come to pick their meals up. It's ready to go out the door. We
have federal guidelines that tell us that each meal has to provide 1/3 of the recommended dietary allowances of all essential nutrients. Certainly, a diet that's fairly low in fat, especially saturated fat, and reasonably adequate in complex carbohydrates, high fiber foods in particular, and containing a variety of foods, fruits and vegetables, whole grain breads and cereals, and legumes, beans, peas, and lentils. All of these foods tend to lead to longevity and improved health and greater vitality. And we have about 16,000 participants who attend senior community cafes during the year. And then in addition to that, we serve about 10,000 clients in their homes. It comes out to about 3 million meals a year, a little more than 12,000 meals a day served in the state.
Where's the potato salad?
We're concerned. I think it's a national trend that fewer people are attending the nutrition projects.
We're really working together to increase numbers because the congregate meal counts have decreased in recent years, and we find that we really have an obligation to try to increase the numbers.
So we're trying to upgrade the image of some of the senior community cafes, more in line with a restaurant.
About a year and a half ago, the general consensus was to change the name from a senior center or a congregate site to the Senior Community Cafe. And going along with that, Sharon was able to come up with some ideas on how to improve the site in general.
We wanted to make the site look more like a cafe. We brought in a chalkboard so we have a daily menu written on it every day, and also to have like a little cafe table set up. Today we're having the firecracker dance, and our counts have gone up double today, so we're really excited about it.
I must say the most important thing to help or to encourage seniors to come out is the quality of the programming. So when they come, it's not just a meal, but they come for an activity that they really enjoy.
Stay in this menu. Stay in the box.
As the director of the senior center, it's also my role to bring in activities that might enhance or complement the nutrition program.
This is my father, Gene, and he's here today. Like almost every day, he takes advantage of the lunch programs, and I'm here today practicing as a volunteer in the SeniorNet program.
We have a SeniorNet computer class going on this morning, and we've got younger seniors teaching the class, and they'll take a break at 11:30, come out and have the lunch with their class, and then go back in for their practice sessions. So it's a way of introducing younger people to the center and then participating in the meal program.
I started here about 2 years ago, and I've enjoyed coming down here for the companionship and the good food. And then all around the table, you meet different people almost every other day or so. So this is like a second home to me.
I live here in Torrington. I'm 77 years old, and I eat meals. Now and then I have a meal which are very good, but I gotta lose 10 pounds. But I do participate in any activity that they have at night, which, you know, I'll serve or whatever, anything that has to be done. I love what I'm doing. I love the seniors. I love the senior center, and they smile, they laugh, we laugh together, and it's just, yeah, seniors are beautiful people.
Many seniors have no idea what financial assistance programs they may be eligible for. Benefits Checkup is an important new computer tool older adults can use to find the help that they need.
Benefits Checkup is a website available on the internet at www.benefitscheckup.org. It is meant to screen for a number of federal and state programs within each state. What an individual does is to go onto the website and plug in their information, their age, where they live, their income, their assets. And what happens is the website generates a printout that will let them know the financial assistance and prescription drug programs that they are potentially eligible for. In order to get into the program, you click here, right where you are. And again, it allows you to fill out the benefitscheckup.org screening tool. If we want to go in and actually fill out the benefitscheckup.org, we would click right where you are, and we come into the second screen, which is actually the questionnaire itself. Benefits Checkup is sponsored federally by the National Council on Aging. They had received some funding in order to develop a website that would serve as an eligibility screening tool for individuals 55 years of age and older who wanted to find out through an internet service what they were eligible for.
And it's a real issue for people in Connecticut and nationwide is the fact that there are public benefits that they're eligible for, but many times they have different eligibility requirements, different age requirements. It's very confusing to people to understand what they may or may not be able to receive. And what we are doing is ARP has joined with the National Council on Aging to sponsor a program called Benefits Checkup. It's a wonderful program, but some of the people that need the program the most don't have access to a computer. So ARP is using our membership base to recruit volunteers that will work in senior centers, and they're going to be working alongside the person or their family member and show them how to use the tool.
Okay, the next section is prescription medications, and with what the purpose of is to make sure that you're receiving the benefits appropriate for you and your husband. Is this something that you'd be interested in? The detail I'd be asking for is the prescription and the dosage on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. Okay.
If a senior adult is interested in being screened, they can certainly make use of the website themselves if they have that capability. But because we know that not everyone has internet access, we have generated a program of volunteers to assist seniors and their families to use this internet capability. So if an individual is interested in having that service, they can call our 1-800 number, 1-800-994-9422. That's actually the statewide Choices Program phone number. So anywhere in the state you can call that and you'll get your local area agency on aging. The senior makes an appointment and comes in or is part of a screening day. What they do is they sit down with a volunteer. They have their income, asset, their prescription drug information available, and the volunteer will go through with them the different questions on what we call the hard copy and fill that out.
Are you currently receiving benefits from or participating in any of the following programs? Social Security?
Yes.
Medicare?
Yes.
Medicaid?
No.
The entire service is confidential. No records are kept of what's going on. It goes back to the individual to, again, then react to in the way they think is most appropriate.
When we enter it into the computer, all of this information will be confidential. There'll be no name attached to it.
Right.
When we print out the results, we'll send them to you in this envelope.
Following the arrival of the printout at the senior's home and they're reviewing that, they can certainly bring that printout to their municipal agent, talk with them about the different programs, discuss the application process.
Let me take a look at that. All right, here you hold that. Now this is the screening tool, right? The benefits checkup?
Right.
Okay. When somebody comes in to find out what they would be eligible for, they come in and meet with me, and I would go over the results to see if indeed they're eligible for these programs and do the follow-up with them and do the applications. And I do keep all those applications in my office so that I can, then do the appropriate application with somebody who comes in and get them started on that program.
For the benefit checkup, I think it's great. It's informing that I can go out and find out if there's different things out there. People need to know these problems exist, and a lot of us need help.
It's very important for all seniors and their families to understand the financial assistance programs that they may be entitled to. I think there's been a certain amount of stigma attached to asking for assistance. What we want to encourage seniors to understand is that there is not, that there are a lot of programs out there that are meant to be of help to them, and we want them to at least find out about them so that when a need does arise, they know there is assistance. We want to make sure that they can go through their day and manage their finances in a way that's comforting for them and their families, because they are special to us.
Up next, we see how some local musicians are picking up their musical instruments to play in this lively symphonic band for people aged 50 and over.
I play the flute. I played when I was in high school, and then I didn't play at all until my husband organized this band for seniors. So I thought, well, maybe I'll just give it a try again. And I got started, and that was about 6 years ago.
Let's do that again from 19 here, please.
The New Horizons Band was originally formed by Dr. Roy Ernst from the Eastman School of Music at University of Rochester, and it was originally a study on learning music at an older age, and now there's over 50 New Horizons bands around the United States. This group was started by Dr. William Willett, faculty emeritus from the Hart School, University of Hartford, and he started this group about 9 years ago through the Hart School Community Division.
The idea of this band is that instead of just meeting and playing band music, that you get instruction on your instrument from a professional instructor. So you know how to practice during the week and what to practice and how to develop your chops.
I play the clarinet, but it's a lot of start and stopping over the years. And I started when the New Horizons started up. It's kind of like riding a bike. You don't forget it. It comes back. And the nice thing about this group is there are so many different levels of playing. There are some people who never played an instrument before until they joined this band. It's just a wonderful outlet, and it's so different from everything else I do in my life.
In addition to these classes and the band, we have 9 small ensembles. So we have a percussion ensemble, a clarinet, a choir, we have a saxophone ensemble. So we do a lot of various kinds of music, show tunes, marches, serious music, and so everybody has a good time.
All right, let's go back to a good place to start, I think, would be 12.
I'm the oldest member of the band. Turned 87 this last February, but I enjoy the band. No kidding around it. I played right along all through the years. I think playing with others is very, very satisfying. Gosh, you do this, all your worries go away for the day.
We have concerts twice a year. It's a real treat to be able to play in a concert. And we have a great time dressing up in our blue shirts with the names embroidered on the shirts.
It's very wonderful to see grandchildren coming to see their grandfather and grandmother play in a concert instead of the other way around, as it's been in most situations. It's very exciting.
Afterwards, any friends you have in the audience come up to say hello and tell you how great you were. And I sit there thinking, there's no place I'd rather be than right in the middle of all this music.
Everyone seems to be talking about the need for long-term care insurance. In this next segment, we talk with an expert who offers advice to seniors looking for answers to this complex issue.
We heard about the forum by doing some research over the internet on long-term care planning.
We're at a point in our life when we're trying to plan for the future, and we want to preserve as many options for ourselves as possible. And this seems to be a way to preserve some of those options.
I'm using this to start the process because I really hadn't looked into long-term care insurance. You don't want to think about it. You kind of put it off as long as possible, but after having a personal touch with it, I know I have to do it.
We have not really thought about long-term care. We've heard people talk about it, but as it entails thinking about it for ourselves, we really never gave it a thought.
My impression is that most people aren't planning, but I think in a very short amount of time, it's something that most people are going to have to become aware of.
My name is David Gutchin. I'm the director for the Connecticut Partnership for Long-Term Care, and I work out of the state Office of Policy and Management, and it's my pleasure to welcome you all here to our program this evening. We're going to touch on the issue of what long-term care is, some of the risks and costs that people face, one of the most important elements, which is who pays and who doesn't pay for the long-term care bill.
Private long-term care insurance pays for personal and custodial care for individuals who need assistance with basic activities of daily living, things like bathing, dressing, feeding. Health insurance and Medicare aren't going to pay for those types of services because they're not medical services. So that if you don't do any sort of planning and you don't have private long-term care insurance, you can find yourselves having to pay out of pocket that's $70,000, $80,000, $90,000 a year to pay for your services.
Healthcare costs in Connecticut are amongst the highest in the nation. Long-term care may be the most expensive thing you buy other than your house. And unfortunately, with long-term care, you don't get to finance it over 30 years. You really have to pay as you go.
If we continue to finance long-term care with a heavy emphasis on the Medicaid program, then anyone who follows the issue of Medicaid knows that it's going broke and it's only going to get worse. And so if we don't try and shift some of those resources into private insurance and reduce what people pay out of pocket, we're going to have a very difficult time financing the long-term care system that we're trying to develop to provide those adequate services and supports.
70% of all the people who are in nursing homes at any given time have their care paid for by Medicaid. They're not necessarily people who always were low income because of the high cost. I'd often have clients who would spend their way through $100,000, $200,000 on nursing home bills and then qualify for Medicaid after they've exhausted all their savings.
Well, hopefully we won't need any of it, but one never knows and you can't plan. Our hope is that we wouldn't need long-term care, that we live long, die quick.
One of the biggest misconceptions I think people have is that, one, that they won't need long-term care, and I think the statistic is that something like 25% of us will need long-term care, extensive care, either in the home or in a nursing facility for at least a year.
We don't know what those days are going to entail for us. We don't know what illnesses we may have, and we need to know what we need to do to prepare for that day.
The Connecticut Partnership for Long-Term Care is a unique alliance between state government, who I work for, and the private insurance industry. And it does two very important things. First off is that we educate Connecticut residents about the issue of long-term care. And the second thing we do is we've developed special private long-term care insurance that is sold through the private insurance companies that participate in the partnership. And they include a special feature that allows policyholders to protect some or all of their assets if they exhaust their private insurance and still need long-term care through our Medicaid program.
In the process of finding out what happens, what Medicare pays, I knew that I had to look into some long-term care if I were going to protect my assets or pass anything on to the kids.
We like to protect our assets, and this is the means of doing it, so that if anything happens, one of us will be protected and have the coverage we need, and we can have the asset to pass on to our kids or grandkids.
If you don't plan for long-term care and you need it, then it could leave the spouse that isn't in long-term care with a very minimum of assets. The Connecticut Partnership, as we understand it, helps you protect some of those assets.
One of the problems on the long-term care insurance side is that when most people start looking at it in their 60s or 70s, the costs are either prohibitive or they have a medical condition such that no insurance company is going to sell to them.
And the other piece is, and probably more important, is that long-term care is not just an issue for seniors. It can strike people at any age. People have strokes in their 40s. People have accidents at any age. And so if you have private long-term care insurance, you can avoid going through the hardship of impoverishing yourself paying for those services.
I can't predict what kind of service I'll be needing. I just see that there are different options out there, and I want to learn all of them before I take some action.
Well, I am definitely thinking along the lines of making provisions for long-term care, because none of us know what tomorrow holds and how long we're going to be living and what we're going to have to face. So I think the possibility is that we make preparations, start making preparations from now for the future.
Thanks for watching this edition of Seniors Living a Quality Life. Join us next time when we explore more issues of interest to seniors and their families.
And action.
Up next, we see how some local musicians are picking up their musical instruments to play in this lively symphonic band for people aged 50 and over.
Okay, that was great, but we kind of lost the brightness and the cheeriness of the whole piece.
Okay.
This is the What Inspires You piece.
Okay, I've got to remember
it needs
that.
to be a little more.
Okay.
Okay, and take 9 and action.
Up next, we see how some local musicians, we got to start it again.
Okay, and that's a false start, so we'll go with take 9 and action.
Up next, we see how some local musicians are picking up their musical instruments to play in this lively symphonic band for people aged 50 and over.
And cut.
These phone numbers and websites can provide you with more information about the programs and services in this episode of Seniors Living a Quality Life, or visit cptv.org. Seniors Living a Quality Life was made possible by the generous contribution of our presenting sponsor, Masonacare, with additional support from Qualidime, Kearns & Kearns of West Hartford, the Hartford Foundation for Public Giving, and Doncaster.
A production of CPTV Connecticut.